feel like I'm meant to come on and do a video, and I actually am not really entirely sure what I'm meant to be talking about. And I did this kind of the other day, and it turned out to be a really interesting video. But I originally was thinking that I was meant to be talking about coincidence and paying attention to everything that is going on around you, because it is all leading, it is all supporting, it's all here to support your process. And we've all got our own process. Like, I'm journeying and journaling with this one, but one of the things that really supports me is, people in the spiritual community talk about breadcrumbs and making sure to pick up the breadcrumbs. This is more, I don't even know how to describe it. It's not so much breadcrumbs, it's more granules of sand, and they're just everywhere. And I just pay attention to those things, to the things that you go, oh, that's interesting. Those things, literally everything is here for a purpose, and that purpose is to support your process. Literally everything that that people around you say, it's not a coincidence. It is here for a purpose, and it's all here to support your process. Every single thing, even that plane going overhead now, which is somewhat annoying, is here to support my process. Even I remember sitting in an appointment with my daughter at the cochlear implant clinic, and her having a hearing test or a mapping, whatever the hell they call it, and knowing that experience, sitting there at the implant clinic as a parent with your child having a hearing test, was supporting my process. I don't need to know why. The why is not important. The bookmarking of it is important. And when I say bookmarking, all I mean is taking a literal second to go, that's interesting. Okay, that's interesting. Even like my kids talking, and one of them will say something, and it's like, that's really interesting. In my head, I'm going, that's really interesting because it links exactly to what I'm working on right now, what I'm working through. That's links directly to my process and what I'm in right now. There is so much. It's not just breadcrumbs. Breadcrumbs, what's smaller than... I feel like breadcrumbs kind of relates to a loaf of bread, whereas this is like, there is sand everywhere, and every bit of sand relates to my process. And so it's literally just, where am I putting my attention in this moment? What within where I'm putting my attention is supporting me in my process right now. Does that make sense? Yesterday, I felt for a couple of weeks, and I spoke about this more in my daily check-in on the 28th, which I haven't posted yet, which I will once this is posted. And for a couple of weeks, I just had this kind of nagging, I really need to watch Inception, the movie Inception again. And as I started watching it, all this stuff just started coming. And there's a butterfly that's just literally flown around my phone. A butterfly has just literally flown around my phone as I'm talking. That's interesting. Yes, there are some things like that are obvious, that are clear. Like, I wonder if you actually get to see the butterfly in the video. But then there are other things that you think, okay, my spiritual life is separate from my this life. I chat with my spiritual friends about my spiritual stuff, and that is, to one side, and then the other side is my reality, is my family, my day-to-day life, and never shall they meet, never shall they come together. They're all one and the same. They're all part of each other. They are your spiritual life, and the spiritual stuff that you're talking about is being mirrored to you in your daily life if you would just pay attention. I have so many friends that say to me, because like spiritual practice, intuitive practice is my life. It is my day-to-day, it is my every minute of my life. And silly planes. It's interesting. The planes are interesting. Intuitive creation is something I'm doing every minute of every day, pretty much. Or more and more as I'm going through my process. And the amount of times that I might catch up with a friend again who I haven't spoken to for a while and say, how's it going? Oh, well, I haven't had time to do spiritual stuff. I haven't had time to... It's like, how can you not have time? Because it is my life. Like, it is... They're not separate. They're one and the same. Like, I'm driving my kids to school, we're having a conversation, and suddenly one of them might say something that relates to my process. The song on the radio might also relate to my process, and saying something that helps me understand my process, like where I'm at within my process better. A billboard might say something that relates to dreams, because dreams are kind of my thing at the moment, and inception, and the kids might say something like related to, like completely wholly unrelated to dreams, and yet somehow it's exactly what I need to hear that clicks something into place, or might just be oh, that's interesting. And it all supports a number plate might jog something. A teacher at school might be talking to me about something completely unrelated to, well, I don't have spiritual conversations about, with the teachers at school, and yet someone might say something and it's like, that connects with that, right, that makes sense within my process. Every single little thing. I still actually, sometimes I might create mandala codes, like little mandala pictures, and I might put 6 on a page, and then maybe I might feel intuitively drawn to give one to my mum, one to my daughter, another one to a friend, and then I might put one on my wall. And it's like, to me, that's really interesting. I've just connected these people. I'm in general the connection point for all of them, but for whatever reason, these 4 codes, we'll say, have been cut from the same bit of paper. They might even be vastly different codes, but they're being cut from the same bit of paper. And so that now links those 4 people, whether they need to exchange energies, whether they're connected in relation to energies, whether they need the same energy for whatever reason. But it's noticing things like that noticing, I'll bring it closer, noticing when those sorts of things happen. I've noticed, and I remember because I like really consciously bookmarked it, that it might have been last year, it could have even been the year before. There was a lot of kids coughing. I know, kids get sick all the time, blah, blah, blah. But it was like wherever I went, kids were coughing. And it just, I don't know why. I still don't know why. I feel like I'm on the verge, at times, of knowing the why, but the important part for me was that I bookmarked it. And I still actually remember that bookmark. Because then it comes up again. It's like, oh yeah. It's like opening a tab on a computer for it. But the tab's running in the background. And so at the moment, I've got all these tabs open that relate to little things that I've said, oh, that's interesting. And put it on, and opened it. And then so now, whenever something happens that connects to one of those tabs, that relates to one of those tabs, it's already open there. And so I go, oh, that's interesting because that relates to that. I'll add that to that section. I'll add that to that tab. I'll add that information. And that helps my process. And then at some point, all of the information from that tab lines up and makes potent information. And it all lines up and makes sense. And it's like, fudge, mate, I'm so glad I bookmarked all that information. It's all there. It's all there in here. It's all there. Pay attention to the little things. Pay attention to the little things, because it's all here to support your process, to support you in your process. Everything happens for a reason, not just when someone dies or something really shit happens. Literally every single thing that happens around you happens for a reason, and that reason is to support your process.